So I'm going to show you exactly how to practice like a professional. If you are not starting every single action with like a rip through or a jab step or a square up or working on one of your pivots or your setups, then you are still practicing like an amateur. I'm going to go through the things that you need to be doing on every single action that you take when you're practicing by yourself. So then when you get into a basketball setting, you will play more like a professional. And if you watch professionals play on the highest level, they do these things in the game automatically, like every single time, but you don't really notice it because it's so common on that level. And so what a lot of amateurs do is when they start their reps, they're just like whatever, and then like, okay, go, right? But what professionals do is they start with a purpose. So they start with a pivot, or they start with a rip through, or they're working on their square ups or their setups in every single rep. So if you want to take your habits from amateur to professional, then you have to incorporate the things that I'm about to talk about. Shout out to Jilly Socks for sponsoring the content, man. They gave me a few pairs of socks, and these are the Fox socks. I was wearing them in the video. These are actually my favorite ones I got from them, but man, go to jillysocks.com and check them out. So I'm going to show you a lot of different ways that you should be starting all of your reps. And some of it comes down to your own play style. So you might have your own setups. Like if you know KD, like KD has his hang setup and he does that. And like Harden, he has like this. But like Kobe, when he started, or Iverson, like they always started with their jab. And so whatever your setup is or how you start in the games, you want to practice that way every single time. So here, I'm going to go through a bunch of them. So the first one, in all of them, you should always square up. Like that's number one. So even if you're just doing catch and shoot, like I'm going to be here and then I'm going to go into my shot, right? But then like sometimes you might start with a pivot. So I might roll it to myself and then I'll go here and I'll start my pivot and then I'll go into my standstill jump shot. So like that's another thing you can do. And then you also want to stack on top of that. So now that I'm doing like my pivots and my square ups, now it's like, okay, am I ripping through? Am I pump faking before my shot? Like, what am I doing after that fact? And so I might get it up top and like I catch it and I'm squaring up. And now I go here and I rip through and now I'm going into my shot, right? And so like that's another way to start. And also you can start with your pump fake, right? So like I might catch it, square up, like jab a little bit, pump fake, and now I'm going into my rep that way. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can set up, but if you're gonna go to a professional level, like you have to do that before every single rep that you do. So if you're working on your finishing, and let's say you're working on motion, every single catch, here, go, right? Like you gotta have professional movements. And the next thing, like you gotta work on different types of pivots, right? So now I was doing the reverse the whole time, so now I'm gonna work on the other one. So I might be here, square up forward, and now I'm gonna attack them that way, right? So building the habits of doing different square ups and rip throughs and all those other things is like, that's the thing that's gonna take you to another level, because then when you get into the game, like your habits are gonna be so on point, you're gonna do things without thinking about it. And so like I'll go through a few different ways. Like first one, I might just catch and then rip through low. Like second one, I might catch here, rip through high. That's my next one. I might square up. So square up and then I'll fake the rip through, going into my shot. Same thing. Like I might square up, get my setup going, pump fake, go into that. And then I might do doubles, right? So like I might square up here and then it might be like pump fake there. And then I spam it, right? I just do it over and over and over and over and over. So I might pick one. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my low rip throughs into floaters every time. So every single time I catch the ball, and I might even do it with like a side pivot. So if I catch the ball coming from this way, like I might go here and then like go into my floater, right? And then the next one is like, okay, I'm catching it from the other direction. So I might go here and then like fake jab here, attack left. But I'm doing that on every single rep so I get it down pat. And so it's just a part of my nature. And like one of my mottos is make good basketball part of who you are. And this is a way to do that. So when you're practicing your shooting, you're practicing your layups, like you're practicing your floaters, all those different things, do your setup every single time. And so I'm gonna go over some off the dribble ones. So like some, I might be here, and some people might like delay, and now I got that one, and I'm doing that at a professional pace, right? And like the next one, a lot of people hang, right? Or they skip. So like you might be a skip, like semi-transition, skip, okay, going into my jump shot, right? Probably should have warmed up before this. And then another one, like instead of a skip, like I might be a hang, and then I'm gonna attack it that way, right? And so like all these different things, like whatever your go-to setups are, if you have one or two or three, do those like all the time into whatever the thing is you're practicing. So if I'm practicing, like I said before, I might be practicing my layups going all the way. So if I'm a delay person, every single time, delay, and then I'm gonna go into my layups, right? I'll go back again, and like I might be here, set him up, delay, I'm gonna attack him again, right? Same deal. And like if you're a point guard, a lot of yours are probably gonna start off the dribble. So like you might set them up like here, that might be your setup, and then you're gonna go. Like KD does that all the time. He's a like setup guy, so he's every single time. That's his go-to. And then he counters off of that. So every single time, yank, and then he's going to shoot it. And then like the next one, go, okay, pull up, right? And so whatever your setups are, like take them from other people and watch them closely. Like, okay, Harden does this setup, Luka does that setup, KD does this setup, Kobe does that setup, and like copy it. So every time, like if you find yourself in triple threat, like imagine it, get in it. Like use your like mellow, same thing, okay, go into my move and go into my shot. And then once you know all your setups, then you plan your shots from that. So if you're practicing your mid-range, then it's like, okay, I'm at this spot now, I'm gonna use this setup every time. Spam it like over and over and over. So every single time, here, go to that. Let's say I'm on the next spot, then it's like, okay, let me work on my rip through. So here, over, go into that. Like I'm gonna do those things consistently on every single rep, and you don't have to do the same ones, but it's like when you move to different spots, do ones that are likely. So like if you're in the mid-range, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna be off the dribble, right? So if I catch it in the mid-range, like I'll probably catch it like this, and then like go into something. But just make sure like it's things that you do, and then do it exactly like into every rep. And like that's how you'll take your game from amateur to professional. And then you'll see the difference when you play against other people. So like practice those habits, get your setups in, and do it into every rep before you plan your shooting. And just make it a habit. Even if you're just warming up, like I warm up like this, like every time, catch it, pivot. And I just make sure like my pivots are on point. I'm here, pivot, right? Like every single time, even if it's like small jump shots, here, got it, okay, other side, here, pivot, shot. And I'm just practicing that over and over and over and over, and that's how you're gonna go to the next level.